Hey, what's good, everybody? This is Matt, and okay, I just woke up like half an hour ago or whatever, and I saw that Konami finally dropped the ban list. So I'm gonna. This is my ban list reaction. It is not a live reaction, unlike other Yugi YouTubers who lie and pretend that it's a live reaction. This is the first time they're looking at their ban list. I'm gonna tell you the truth and tell you I already saw the ban list and I already have a lot of opinions about it, which inspired me to make this video, right? So yeah, the ban list is effective immediately. So today is May 17th, and this says effective from May 17th. Uh, the basically like that date coupled with the fact that well, you'll see what's on this ban list. Kind of makes me think that like whoever at Konami was in charge of the TCG ban list, it feels like you know they had an assignment due by like 11:59 p.m. And they procrastinated and they turned it in at the last second. That's what this feels like. A lot of these like because of the date, it's like oh it's immediately available, but also it's like some of these decisions are very questionable. All right, anyway, let's get into it. So we're starting off with the unlimited list. This is the least controversial one. Mirage Stalio to zero. Sorry, not zero. Three. Uh, I don't recall if I mentioned anything about Mirage Stalio in my prediction video, but was it at two before? I don't know. Whatever. It's at zero. It's at one now. Salmon Great's not an issue. Night Assailants. I remember this card got errated. It's mostly a GOAT format card. Not sure what hasn't really done anything in the TCG. I don't think anyone's really gonna play it. Here lives Solomon Great Circle and Scapegoat, each to three. If you recall from my ban list prediction video, this was on my prediction video, right? So I'm glad that this is here because there was no reason to leave those two cards at two or those three cards at two. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, unlimited. What was it before? That's huh. I think it was limited before. It was previously at one. Now it's at three. Oh, Mirage Sala was at one. Now it's at three. Okay, so they skipped for Trishula, Salomon Great, Mirage Stalio, and Night Assailant. All three were at one, and now they're at three. And Konami didn't even bother putting them at two. They just went straight to three. Okay. Um, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, I don't think was is really an issue. Like, and the thing about extra deck monsters, especially like a synchro like Trishula, synchro monsters are typically not made more than once in a given turn. So I think this is fine. I mean, I wasn't around when Trishula was a problem, so I don't know. I don't know how it was abused. But I know it's the monster that like banishes a card from opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. Um, which can be annoying, but like this wasn't forbidden. This was limited, right? So, uh, although I suppose it's not a hard once per turn, is it? So technically, would Virtual World be able to abuse this? I don't know. Comment down below about your thoughts on Trishula. I'm not sure. I like it was at one, and I never saw Trishula. Like very, very rarely came up, and even against Virtual World matchups, like this is not a card I usually had to deal with. So but the fact that this effect to banish three cards is not hard once per turn is very interesting. So I don't know. Yeah, comment down. For y'all who have been around during that time, just let me know what you think. All right, so let's go to the semi limits. All right, a lot of big opinions here, um, and yeah, some of these are dumb. But basically, why the hell is Pot of Desires back at two? What the fuck? Like, okay, so the previous ban list they limited it to one, right? And yeah, some people complained about it. Oh, that makes no sense. Why would you limit Pot of Desires? If you watch my first ban list prediction video where I predicted Desires to one, uh, you'll understand. But basically, like the reason Desires needs to be at one is because for a lot of decks, this card is a free Pot of Greed. It's straight up free, right? And it's not like um, decks And you know, like you could say the same about Pot of Extravagance. Oh, it's free Pot of Greed for Eldritch, right? Well, not not exactly, because you know, like for like Pot of Extravagance cost is actually greater than the cost of Pot of Desires, right? Like, Pot of Desire banish 10. For some decks, they want to banish 10. Like Grand Maju, they want to banish 10. Even Sword Soul kind of want to banish 10 because they have Changing, who gains 100 attack and decreases the opponent's monsters by 100 attack for every banished card. And for decks that have three ofs in their main engines, like they don't rely on any one of cards, right? Um, Pot of Desire's cost to banish 10 is an absolute joke. It's a complete joke. So this card was a free +2 to decks that were already good, like Sword Soul, right? So this is a straight buff to Sword Soul, right? So when they put Pot of Desires on one, that was an indirect nerf to Sword Soul. Yeah, Grand Maju players complained, oh, they don't get their free banish 10, but like there's so many ways to banish cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, so I guess this is a buff to Grand Maju. Like I guess Grand Maju players rejoice. Hey, even I think Grand Maju decks can be fun, right? But this is a direct buff to Sword Soul. Sword Soul, by the way, made a resurgence and is now the second best deck in the format, right? So a deck that absolutely did not require any help. In fact, should have been toned down with this ban list, right? And yet they're getting Pot of Desires back to 2. I don't get it. Like that, it makes no sense to me. All right, Wall of Revealing Light. I didn't even know that was that limited. Like, why is Wall of Revealing Lights at 2 now? Well, let me look this up real quick. Pretty sure. I mean, it must have been at 1, right? Let me see what it says. Wall of Revealing Lights. Yeah, it was previously at 1. Okay. That's cool, I guess. All right. Let's talk about Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter. So yeah, True Draco players rejoice. Dynamite was definitely one of the better monsters in the deck, right? Problem with True Draco right now is that it's not good. It's like strictly worse than Eldritch, right? Uh, Gets really hurt by skill drain. Like, yeah, technically you can run skill drain in True Draco and technically still be able to play through it, but like, yeah, I literally have never seen a True Draco deck in real life. Like, I've only seen it in online playtesting, and like Master Duel, right? So yeah, Dynamite Knight to 2 is fine. I could even see it going to 3 in the next ban list. Like, fine. Um, Okay. Cyber Angel Benton. So they're putting Benton at 2, which is definitely a buff to Drytron. But then it's like, well, if they don't have Eva, does it really matter if Ben 10 goes to 2? Um. Well, they nerf. So, uh, Drytron got nerfed harder in this ban list than it got buffed, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so bringing Benton back to 2, I think they're testing the waters, right, to see if it can go to 3. Like with Eva banned, like they're not going to be able to set up 13 negates or 7 negates or whatever absurd amount of negates that they used to be able to set up um, Drytron and you know the Herald of Perfection or Herald of Ultimateness. But then it's like, all right, but I don't know. I just find it's kind of weird that you know Ben 10 was just last year limited to 1. Cause yeah, Drytron was a like the problem with Drytron is that the deck is either insanely good or insanely mediocre. There is no in between. There is no like I don't know. Even before this, you know, when they were doing the Megalith stuff and like the DP with the Scythe pop, I don't know. I always felt it was a mediocre deck. I didn't think it was really even rogue. Like it was like okay, I guess it was technically rogue, but like it was not a. It didn't seem like a worthwhile deck, right? Fire Formation Tenki back to 2. So this was limited to 1 to curb this consistency of Tri Brigade. So I guess they're kind of making Tri Brigade. Actually, by the way, Pot of Desire is also great for Tri Brigade because just like Sword Soul, Tri Brigade doesn't give a single shit about banishing 10 cards from the top of their deck. So that's the problem with Pot of Desires. It is literally Pot of Greed for a lot of decks. I mean, now for some decks that can't banish 10 because they have a very important one of engine piece that they don't want to risk banishing, then yeah, they can't use it. But like for decks that where all their engine pieces that are already super consistent and all their engine pieces are available at like 3, right? This just makes it more consistent, right? Swordsoul is already one of the most consistent decks ever in existence, and this just makes it more consistent, right? There's no cost to banishing 10 off the top of that. It's an absolute joke. Anyway, so 10 key to 2, I guess makes Tri-Brigade consistent. So Tri-Brigade hasn't been the best deck in a while, and honestly, as long as Swordsoul and Branded Despia exist, they probably won't be. But it makes them better, I guess. But that's the thing. Tri-Brigade was already in a fine spot. Like they already had the Lyralust engine, right? They like I still saw them at my locals. They weren't topping like top four was, Tri-Brigade was not entering the top four, uh, not even the top eight, anytime soon. So like, I guess they're testing. Oh, let's see if we can bring Tenki back to 2, right? So maybe you could argue, oh, this is just, the adapting to the changing format, right? Yeah, maybe the hit the Tenki made sense in the format where Tri Brigade was clearly the best deck, far and above everyone. But then DP came out. But then Sword Soul came out. Like I said, I woke up like half an hour ago. Adventure came out. Branded Despia is the thing, right? So yeah, with Ben 10 and Tangy, it feels like they're testing the waters on seeing if they can bring those decks back. But the thing that doesn't make sense to me is like, yo, there's so many cards that can be coming back, and so many decks have been hit in the past that where the ban is no longer relevant, and you decide, you know what, Drytron and Tri-Brigade need to be brought back ASAP, right? Like they wasted no time bringing these cards back to 2, right? Which is crazy to me. It's like there's so many other decks that you could be bringing back. I mean, you brought back Fairy Tale Snow, that was interesting, right? You brought back like Salamangreat, right? So the deck has not been relevant in a long, long time, like maybe 2, 3 years, right? But then you decide, oh, wait, you got to immediately bring back Tenki and Ben 10. It's like, I mean, are there? I guess there are rogue decks that run Tenki and Ben 10, and one could argue that Tri Brigade and Strytron still won't be good after this, which I believe they still won't be good, because of the upcoming ban list changes that I'm about to talk about. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Tenki and Ben 10 if it's too soon to bring them back. Uh, Dynamite I think is interesting. I do think the True Draco deck is interesting. Like it's another control deck, right? That's not Eldritch that people can maybe play. Um, Trickstar Light Stage to 2, I believe it was at 1. I don't know enough about this card. I think it lets you like pay. What does it do? It makes your opponent pay life points to play activate cards or something. Um, it was previously at 1. Now it's at 2. I mean, oh, so it searches a Trickstar monster, targets a set card, and they cannot be activated, and your opponent must each time a Trickstar monster inflicts battle damage, inflict 200 damage. Okay, so it's upping the consistency of Trickstar. So actually, I mean, I haven't seen a Trickstar deck in real life ever. I've only seen it online, so I don't know. I'm okay with Trickstar Light Sage at 2. Maybe for those of you who were around when that was a problem, like, will disagree with me, but right now, it's very clear what the problem decks are, and so far, in this unlimited, well, I guess in the semi-limit, we have not seen any hit to any of the problematic decks, right? So, we did not. The adventure package did not get semi-limited. We'll see if it got limited, but spoilers, it did not. Limited list. All right, so this is sort of spicy. So obviously you can see Change of Heart is back to 1. Oh, Change of Heart. So Change of Heart is just like a better mind control, right? So I believe in the OCG, mind control is at 3, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's at 2, but in the TCG, mind control is at 1, right? Um, Change of Heart is just strictly better than mind control, right? Because mind control says that you take control of a monster your opponent controls, which I think has to be face up. I don't think it can be a face down, whereas Change of Heart can take control of face down monsters, right? But alas, Mind Control says that monster cannot attack and cannot be attributed for a tribute summon, which uh, no one really attributes summons, and the attacking part is not that relevant. So yeah, most of the time you're just getting rid of a problematic monster or forcing Omnigate, and then you're gonna link that monster away or synchro it or whatever. I'm okay with Change of Heart coming back to 1. This is like a classic Yu-Gi-Oh! OG, like OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, right? Um, Also makes me wish that I had kept the copy at my parents' house when I went there and went through my old cards. I didn't notice Change of Heart in my collection. I did not bring it back home with me because it was banned. So, or did I? I'd have to check that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not. So yeah, might have to look into picking up a copy of this just to have. I'm probably not gonna run it, but like, it's a good card, better than Mind Control, and it's one of those cards where it's like Monster Reborn, right? It's like everyone knows about it. Everyone, right? It used to be that everyone ran it, just like how it used to be everyone ran Monster Reborn. So glad to see this. I'm happy with the Change of Heart coming back. Uh, Jet Synchron. All right, so actually, let's talk about Crystron Halki Fibrax first. So Crystron Halki Fibrax limited to 1. So I don't understand this, right? Uh, yeah. So the people who were abusing it with Auroradon were running 2 copies, maybe even more, and yeah, honestly, this card should have been banned because of the Crystron Auroradon combo was just way too good, right? That combo does get nerfed, as we'll see in the ban list. But one thing I want to like, yeah, so they limited it to 1 because they just reprinted it in Ghost in the Past. Will it get banned in the future ban list? Maybe. Um, it feels like they're limiting it to 1 just so they can say, oh, it's still around. You can still use it to link, climb, and access code. But the fact that they brought Jet Synchron back, so for those who don't know, Jet Synchron was used often with Crystron Hockey Fireback. So the reason Jet Synchron was banned was because Crystron Hockey Fireback existed, right? And they decided we're going to bring that back to 1. So yeah, you can now use Crystron Hockey Fireback to bring out Jet Synchron. And for those of you who may not know, Jet Synchron can recycle itself from the graveyard. So, I mean, what they should have done, they should have banned Hulk and released all the tuners that got banned and the Synchrons that got banned off of, as a result of Hulk. But they limited it to 1. I understand why. It's because of their product, right? They recently released product that has Hulk Fibrax as a reprint. So they want to keep it still playable, but at 1, it's like, yo, if you're gonna hit the Auroradon combo anyway, there's no point in this card should be 3 or 0. There's no point for it to be at 1. I've never seen, outside of the Auroradon Halki Fireback combo, I've never seen someone actually summon more than 1 of these. So that was kind of silly. Performapal Monkey Board to 1. I believe this card was previously um, banned, I want to say. Let's see what Google says. Yeah, it was banned, and now it's at 1. Huh, I could have sworn I remember playing with this card somewhere. I forget where. It might have been on Legacy of the Duelist. But yeah. Yeah, this is another one of those, pendulum monsters that's slowly being released, and probably go to 2 in the next list, and then eventually a 3, right? Because pendulums are not that good, right? So that's fine. Shooting Riser Dragon. So the Red Rose limit and the Shooting Riser limit, these are direct hits to the base deck. Yeah, the base deck, I guess, use these cards, but I mean, if you just hit the Halki Fireback into a Auroradon combo, the base deck gets significantly worse, right? So I'm not sure if Red Rose Dragon and Shooting Riser Dragon needed a limit, especially since, like, I guess they didn't want you to normal it. So I guess Red Rose Dragon was like, I don't know. This just seems kind of random. Like, just hit the Auroradon combo and you don't need to touch these cards at all, right? Like, what's the point? I don't get it. Like, that's kind of weird. Time Seal to 1. So Time Seal is kind of a semi-cancerous card because it literally says your opponent skips their next draw phase. I mean, I can see why that was banned previously, but now that it's at 1, it's like, okay, who's actually going to run this? I'm not going to run an Eldritch, that's for sure. It's a trap card, right? So typically you think, oh, trap card is available. Our trap deck's going to run it. I doubt it. So unless there's going to be a new meta deck that uses both Yada Garasu and or Time Seal, and that's going to be super cancerous, I don't see this card actually doing anything. So that's just me. Maybe y'all can comment down if you have more insight about this card, but I don't see this card actually changing the meta or doing anything. Same with Yada Garasu back at 1. It's like, oh, cool. I mean, Yada Lock doesn't really exist anymore, but maybe will it come back? Let's see. It's a fiend monster. It's I believe it's level 1, which means it can be special summoned off of what is it called? 1 for 1? No, it's a level 2. Yeah, so it can't be abused. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah. At the time when Yada Lock was cancer, yes, Yada needed to go to 0. Uh, so I don't know if it's actually gonna do anything now. So I mean, I'm happy to see an old card come back. Like it was a very iconic card at the time, right? So yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments about Yada and Time Seal to 1. But one thing that is not on this ban list, that's not on this limited list specifically, Fusion Destiny remains at 2, and Nadir Servant remains at 2. So it's very unusual for Konami to leave a card aside from Destiny Hero Malicious, which is semi-limited to 2 for a very obvious reason, right? Why would they keep Nadir Servant and Fusion Destiny at 2? I don't get it. Like Konami very rarely keeps a card at 2 for more than a single event. Like if we look at this list right here, I can definitely see Ben 10 Tenki, Desires, Light Stage, and Wall of Revealing Light, and True Draco Dynamite, all going back to 3 in the next ban list, right? Like the semi-limit list is just a stepping stone. It's just a waiting room for cards going from 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, right? So why did Nadir Servant and Fusion Destiny stay at 2? I have no idea. Especially Fusion Destiny. That card absolutely needed to go to 1. Like of all my predictions that I made about the ban list, Fusion Destiny, well, I guess the most sure thing was Hero Lives, Circle, and Scapegoat to 3. But I swear Nadir Servant and Fusion Destiny to 1 each were no-brainers. Like there's no reason for most cards to stay at 2. So I don't know. Maybe Konami. So I have a hunch why, and I'll tell you why once we show the ban list, right? But yeah, I don't see. I I don't know. I guess Dogmatica hasn't really been a big issue this format. But again, it's like if you make the decision to put Nadir Servants to, I guess they observe and Dogmatica basically disappeared. Like you don't really see Dogmatica much anymore, right? Maybe that's why they kept it too. But anyway, let's get to the ban list, the forbidden list, which is okay. So the very first thing that pops up on this ban list is Preda Plant Verde Anaconda. So the OCG banned this card in their last ban list. I've been saying for many years, anyone who's my friend who's been talking to me, any of my ban list predictions, I've been talking about how this card needs to be banned. For the sake of the game, for the sake of the health of the game, this card absolutely needs to be banned, right? And they finally banned it. So good on Konami for doing something that is beneficial towards the health of the game, right? What does Verde Anaconda being banned means? It means that you will not be seeing DP every single game in decks that run DP, right? So the stonk value of DP significantly dropped. So they kept Fusion Destiny at 1, probably because they wanted to observe what happened if they banned Verde Anaconda, right? So in the OCG, Fusion Destiny was banned and Anaconda was at 1. And then recently in the latest OCG ban list, they brought Fusion Destiny to 1 and they banned Anaconda, right? So what I think they should have done was they should have still put Fusion Destiny at 1 just to make sure that decks who want to run DP outside of hero decks don't run it or, don't see it, right? So Fusion Destiny at 2 means that in a 40 card deck, DP they'll see DP 1 out of 4 games, which is not bad, right? But Anaconda can no longer easily splash DP. So this is how they hit. So remember how I've been asking for Artifact Scythe to get hit, right? So I thought they were going to hit Dagda. Instead, they hit Anaconda, which, if you think about it, how do most decks pop Scythe? Most decks pop Scythe using DP, right? So, but the fact that you're only going to see DP one in every 4 games means that your the Scythe strategy is way less consistent, right? Like, yeah, you can still set Scythe, but you need another way to pop it that may not be DP. So 3 out of 4 times you're not going to pop it with DP, right? How are you going to pop it? So there are still ways to pop it. I guess TG Wonder Magician can pop it. Pendulums can still pop it through what is it? What's that card called? The Time Pendulum Graph or whatever it's called. I guess Virtual World can still. So you can still use like um, what is it? Beatrice to send Scythe to the graveyard, and then in the standby phase, Baron de Fleur can revive Scythe. So there's still ways to Scythe lock, even without DP. But this significantly reduces the consistency of Scythe lock, which is good. I suppose they may not need to ban Scythe after. And in fact, I thought they wouldn't ban Scythe because they literally just reprinted it in their Albaz structure deck, right? Albaz structure deck, by the way, does have a way to bring out Scythe. It's not super consistent, but it does have a way. So yeah, Anaconda finally banned. Like, the problem with this card is like any 2 effect monster can make this. If it was 2 dark monsters or 2 dark plant monsters, or they made it more restrictive, this card could stay around. But no, it had to go. Like, it was unhealthy for the game. So yeah, no more will we see DP engines and Dragoon engines splash into random decks outside the archetype. So yeah, as a Dark Magician player, this makes me sad, right? Because then it just means like, so now our our combo is hard play Red Eyes Fusion, hard play Red Eyes Insight, or hard play Branded Fusion. That's it. We can no longer do Rod Souls into Anaconda and then draw 2 off Soul Servant. So feels bad. And Dark Magician, like, see, if Dark Magician had their own Link monster that could either utilize fusions or search or link away Rod or Souls, right? It wouldn't be so bad that we lost Anaconda because we would still have things we could do, right? But now it's like, what do we do? Like, summon Rod, summon Souls, hard play Branded Fusion, and then what? Like, that's it. What is our combo now? We have no combo. um, so yeah, stay tuned for that updated Dark Magician deck profile. Like, I was already playtesting Dark Magician with like some branded stuff, right? Obviously with Anaconda, and I was already planning to put out a new deck profile with the branded stuff. Maybe you could say I'm already like late, but now I'm gonna have to play test without Verde Anaconda. Oof, that's a tough one. That is really a tough one. So, I mean, now you can still make Dragoon. Red Eyes Fusion still has 3. Red Eyes Insight still at 3. Branded Fusion is at 3. So many ways to still make Dragoon, but that's like all you can make is Dragoon and maybe some back row. That's it. But yeah, I was actually surprised. Like, even though I thought this card should be banned, I didn't think that TCG would ban it this soon. To be honest, I haven't been following the OCG, but my guess is like in the OCG nobody's really running the DP package anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, because their Fusion Destinies at 1, right? And like, yeah, combo players don't like hard drawing anything, like, except for their starters. So yeah, Verde Anaconda 1. Hopefully we'll finally see the DP engine die down. So I think Konami wanted to observe what happens. Like, would decks still run the DP package without Anaconda? They're waiting to see if they do. Because if they do, Fusion Destiny is going to 1. If they don't, Fusion Destiny is going back to 3. That's my guess, is what they're trying to do here. Alright, 2 other cards on the ban list. No Dagda, no Scythe, but, maybe those aren't needed anymore because DP, splashable DP is out of the picture. But we have a Mecha Phantom Beast Aurorodon banned. So instead of hitting Hulk, they hit this card, which is what I predicted, right? Because I predicted, hey, they just reprinted Hulk. Knowing how sleazy Konami is, they're gonna ban Aurorodon but keep Hulk. Even though Aurorodon by itself not a problem, Hulk by itself is a problem, right? So yeah, this is a really shitty Band-Aid solution, and I hope in a future ban list they ban Hulk and bring back Aurodon because, yeah, there's no reason for, like, Aurodon by itself is not a problematic card. All right. Uh, oh, but before I move on, so I guess with Aurodon, like, so this is a slight hit to Swordsoul, but it doesn't matter because Swordsoul is still going to be the second best deck. Um, yeah, it's still going to be the second best deck. Um, and they got one more copy of Pot of Desires, which is going to help them tremendously. This also kills the base deck. Like, the base deck is dead, right? I mean, I literally haven't seen the base deck in, like, I want to say since early April, right? But yeah, this kills the base deck because they lost a Red Rose Dragon, they lost a Shooting Riser Dragon, and now they lost Aurodon. So yeah, I mean the base deck was kind of cancerous, but whatever. Um, I'm glad we're not going to see the Aurodon combo anymore because that was just stupid, right? And then Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo. So again, this is a stupid Band-Aid solution. Like, Prank Kids was already not a problem when Meow Meow Moo went to 1. And then Prank Kids only came back because of the Adventure Engine. And then they decided, you know what, Meow Meow Moo to 0. Let's just kill this deck because we want to keep the Adventure Engine around. But I don't think this is good. Like, remember how Dragon Link, they lost, they had Striker Dragon put to 1, right? Like, problematic Link 1s should go to 1. I don't think they should go to 0 necessarily. I think most archetypes should have a Link 1 available, right? Whether or not that Link 1 is broken or not, depends on the archetype. But I think most decks should have a Link 1 available, like most archetypes. That's my opinion. Like, Link 1s are very powerful, right? But, and in Prank Kids, this Link 1 was literally the cause, like, and the entire reason they were able to start their combo anytime they wanted, basically. So yeah, Prank Kids, Adventure Prank Kids is currently, like, I don't know, the third best deck. Like, right now it's Branded Despia, Swordsoul, and then probably Adventure Prank Kids. Like, at my locals, those are also the three most popular decks, right? In that order, and also happen to be in that order, the most likely to top decks at my locals. So I get why, but again, Meow Meow Moo wasn't what was keeping this deck good. It was the adventure package, right? And if you'll notice, the adventure package is nowhere to be found on this list. Not on the semi-limit, not on limit, not on the ban list. And I was most surprised about it not being on the semi-limit list. Like, I mean, you could argue, well, the top two decks, Despia and Swordsoul, they don't run the adventure package, right? And the top third deck, Prank Kids, does run the adventure package. But you know what? We're gonna remove Prank Kids' ability to combo off of one name. So take out Meow Meow Moo and to make DP. So take out Anaconda. So now the Prank Kids deck is officially dead, I want to say. I don't think there's any coming back for this deck. The only thing I can think of is maybe in the future, if they ever ban the Adventure Engine or, like, limit it significantly, maybe they can bring Meow Meow Moo back to 1, and then Prank Kids will be a playable deck. But I'm pretty sure this is, like, the final nail in the coffin for the Prank Kids deck. There's an avid Prank Kids player at my locals. I'll ask him about it. But I'm pretty sure. Like, comment down in the comment section if you think this is the final nail in the coffin for Prank Kids. I believe it is. So, yeah. Glad to see Meow Meow Moo. Well, I'm not that glad to see it. I'd rather have seen other things on this list. I'd rather have seen the Adventure Engine limited or semi-limited. But you know what? They still want to sell product, and Grand Creators must still be selling. I don't know. All right. So let's talk about what's not on this ban list and why this is kind of a problem. So, again, the top two decks in the format, Branded Despia, completely dodged this list, right? So Branded Despia didn't really run Verde Anaconda. They were not running it. They were just hard playing Branded Fusion because it was searchable, right? No hits to Branded Despia at all. This is kind of unbelievable. I'm not going to lie. This is actually unbelievable that there's not a single hit to but the Albest Structure deck just came out. Yes, but the Despia stuff has been out since Dawn of Majesty. So, you know, 6 months, 6 to 9 months or something. Um, they could have at least semi-limited branded opening or limited it to branded open. Branded open has been out for a while, right? It's not. It didn't just come out. It has been out for a while, right? So it's not like, oh, they're still trying to, like, is Konami still trying to sell Dawn of Majesty? I don't know. Like the branded Despia deck would still be playable if we put branded opening at 1, right? It would not kill the deck. It would make it way less consistent, way less obnoxious. Still be playable because Aluber is at 3, right? And Aluber can search branded opening, right? Could also search, branded fusion. Wait, can it? Yes, it can. So, and branded opening can also be milled off of other cards. I don't know. It blows my mind that Brandon Despia was not hit, but Prank Kids was. Okay, Prank Kids won a YCS recently. So did Brandon Despia, right? Prank Kids is not as big of a problem anymore. And the only reason Prank Kids would be a problem is because its ability to make DPE on top of its full combo and its ability to splash the adventure engine. So they kill DPE, fine. Now the adventure engine is, still around. But yeah, not a single hit to Brandon Despia. This is unbelievable, actually. Like, yeah, it's relatively new, but come on. At least limit the consistency a little bit. Like, reduce the consistency is all I ask. Speaking of reducing consistency, Swordsoul Emergence is still at 3. There's no hits to Swordsoul, unless you want to argue, well, they can't use the Aurodon combo anymore. That's not why Swordsoul is good. Like, the Aurodon combo is just a way for Swordsoul to win harder, right? Pot of Desires is just a way for Swordsoul to win harder, right? It's like they don't need to win harder. They need to win less. And Swordsoul is like the most consistent deck in the format, and they didn't lose anything. This is mind blowing to me. That Swordsoul, they didn't even limit Emergence to 1. Like, come on. Monk of the Tenny to 1? No, nothing. Nothing. Just Swordsoul still going to be the second best deck in the format, and will continue to just dominate in the foreseeable future, I guess. Okay, whatever. Other things that are not on this list, which are kind of alarming. What did I talk about? Well, I mean, I did say that, like, Tri Brigade Revolt should have gone to 1, but they're clearly trying to keep Tri Brigade relevant by bringing Tenki to 2. Whatever, I don't know. I would say this ban list, I mean, is more good than bad, right? I mean, it was better than having no ban list, right? So definitely better than the previous ban list, right? But still has some very head-scratching and questionable things either in it or missing from it that are gigantic red flags, right? So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they'll fix some of these issues in the following ban list. They probably will want to wait and see how the format shapes up, right? But I can already tell you, Konami, how the format is going to look. It's going to be Branded Despia and Swordsoul. That's it. That's just what the format's going to be. Does a random cancer deck that abuses Yatagarasu in Time Seal come back? Maybe. Do Pendulum Monsters, the Pendulum decks come back since they're getting new support? Maybe. Does Salamangreat come back? No. I don't think so. But do Trickstars come back? I don't think so either. Does Drytron and Tri Brigade make a resurgence? Probably not. Let's be honest. I mean, Tri Brigade was always kind of like a rogue deck that existed, right? Like, it's not going to dominate anymore. But yeah. So spoilers, Konami. Yeah. Brandon Despia and Swordsoul are going to dominate. And then the most interesting thing to observe is what is going to happen with the DPE package. That's going to be the most interesting thing to observe, right? Will combo decks still splash DPE? My guess is no, because it requires you to hard draw Fusion Destiny, right? Which is like a 1 in 4 chance in a 40 card deck. In a 60 card deck, it's way worse. It's worse than 1 in 4. It's like 1 in 5, or I don't know. Or 1 in 6. It's really bad. Um, so yeah, sad about Anaconda for Dark Magician purposes, but we'll survive. We always have. You know, won't be as fun of a deck anymore, or like as consistent of a deck, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we finally got a ban list, but very very weird, questionable ban list. Um, yeah, didn't hit any of the like major problem cards. I mean, hit two problem cards. Anaconda's a problem card. Glad it got hit. Aurorodon, in my opinion, was not the problem card. It was Krishan, but they hit that combo. So yeah, everything else is fine to questionable, I would say. All right. Well, anyway, that's my reaction. Uh, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is already legal. We'll see how my locals look this week. All right, later. Peace. Thanks for watching.